capital cities. I could lift you up. I could show you what you want to see and take you where you want to be. You could be my luck. Even if the sky's falling down, I know that we'll be safe and sound. So these are the first words of the song, Safe and Sound. Thank you so much, Gabrielle, to be my guest here today in this show and be here with us. I'm super happy to have you here. Welcome. So, do you want to maybe before I give you a really warm welcome, say a few words about why you've chosen this great song?
Well, hello. I'm very happy to be here. And yes, to be safe and sound, to share, to feel, you care for someone and someone cares for you, and it's a more of a state of mind. It's a more of a frame that we have to give ourselves. Um,
Mhm.
it I toggle with the concept also of life
Yeah.
and space and time. And I believe it could, I'm although I'm working with regenerative science, I do think that the meaning of our life is the most essential part of it and the way we look at things. So I wish, for all my, friends and brothers and sisters to be safe and sound.
Thank you so much. And I mean, it could be, even if we think that there's a person opposite to each other where the song is to, it could be also yourself you're talking, that you want to keep yourself safe and sound, take care of yourself. And this kind of self-care, I think, is something you and we are also sometimes talking about, right? To keep an eye on yourself first, on your intuition.
Yeah, also on your metabolic self. We're losing the perspective. We're losing coherence many times with what it is, the world around us, and that's a way of not being safe and not being safe and sound. But also yes, but also I always talk about the food we're eating now.
Yeah.
Long time ago, I think was something in the 1800 already. The Senate of the United States got a papers on how the food was depleted um, by the heavy consumption and the heavy growing of all the veggie and stuff. And I think 80 more than 80 years later, now more than 100 years later, as a matter of fact, is now getting better. So sometimes we look at chicken, but the chicken is really what the chicken is eating, and what the chicken is eating is not really proper to a chicken, and it ends up that we're eating something that we don't really know what it is, although we perceive it as a chicken.
That brings us already in the center of things you're dealing with. And it's super important to talk about this because I think for most people, it's something they would not believe in. So I'm super happy to welcome you here on my show, Sir Professor Dr. Gabriele Pao-Pei Andreoli. Uh, you're
Thank you. Happy to be here.
you're a cosmopolitan, even if you're born in London, but I think you're Italian from nationality. Uh,
Yes, yes. My parents were Italian. I was born in London. I am British Italian, I would say. Although my English is not even that good, but
but it's nice. I like this Italian sound in English by English speaking. It gives English a more, how you say, a more the idea of Italian life and the idea of sit with a cup of espresso at a nice place. The doves are there around. Sun is getting there on your head. So really relaxed atmosphere that comes via this Italian piece of your English.
thank you, thank you. I'm glad it brings us such, so many good visions in you, and I hope it does also in everybody else. What I do really is more focused on science and cooperation. I
Yeah.
don't, so there is a part to it that has to deal with food, with people, with beautiful places. We do a lot of also research with the foundation. well, I'll let you decide what you want to dig into it.
Oh my God, I think we need to have at least 2 hours that I can tell the people all what you do. And I think even with 2 hours, I miss some of that. But I will do my weather rest, and you will correct me, hopefully. So, I mean, you're calling yourself as a strategic consultant, analyst, writer, journalist, and interdisciplinary researcher. For me, you are much more. You are a really great thinker, and I mean, were also named by with different awards, just as Monaco Voice, or we said you are the Monaco 40 over 40. But this is even a small, I guess, among all the others, just as Red Cross, Silver Cross Medal, Red Cross, Silver Cross Medal, United Nations Medal. This is a long, long list, and
Yeah, you don't want to go through all of them.
no. I think then our participants here, they would say, "Oh my God, this guy must be 3 lives already old." So,
Well, I tell you a funny story about that. Once I was confronted, I tried to check myself and to talk to a lot of people and to
yeah,
see things also with other people's, eyes. And so we were talking with this a psychiatrist, and they told me, well, all your stories are very interesting, but we think we should dig it deeper into it and understand better your personality. And I was like, why? And they said to me, well, it appears that you live too many lives. So there must be something that you're making up. And so the kind of mind I am, I went like, oh my God, maybe I am delusional. So we start this process. We start with this process of rebuilding a diary of all the things that I've done and all the really different lives, and the complexity of life that I went through, and which I think we all go through a lot of complexity. We just don't see much of it. And at the end of it, after 4 months journey, they were like, "Oh my God, it's all okay. You can go now." I said, "Well, now after 4 months of working like crazy on trying to puzzle everything together, you tell me just it's okay." But that was a funny story.
that's indeed a funny story, and I mean, there's so much to say about you. And we have just 1 minute left before the first commercial break, but I would like to hit a few things. Just that, for example, I mean, you worked on this head malaria, which is a project where you want to solve the malaria and give solutions to everybody. And what I find super important is that you combine the alternative medicine together with quantum technology, with frequency technology. This is super, super interesting. And of course, you received the Future Innovation Summit Award. That's of course clear. And you're very much in cybersecurity and all these things, and combine it with philosophy. This is great from my point of view, because we need to lose these barriers. And I think you're a person who is really living that. And you're consulting different important people from politics, from religion, just like the Pope. You are honorary professor at the Catholic University. So I think what span says a lot to you. And unfortunately, now before we go deeper, the people can take a breath after all this honors they heard from you. And we see again in a few minutes. So I'm very happy to continue now really with the interview and talk with Gabriel after just taking so long time to going through the list of every of his achievements. And I must say I'm very impressed about what you do. And I tried I mean I tried to think outside the box, but I tried to put you in one, but it was not possible. So this is good, because we need more people like you in these nowadays times. Um,
Well, yeah. Well, thank you very much. I think you're a pretty good example of the complexity of how we are. So many different things. I always say, you know, we all do so many different things, and just because we cook, it doesn't mean we are a cooker, but we are a cook. But We also, do so many things. We do sports. We interact with people. We have so many different capabilities, and sometimes just for the sake of interacting, we go very um, we go like we don't accept difference. We don't accept complexity. We
Yes.
get scared of complexity, and this is what started, the Institute for Advanced Studies and Cooperation. Really, I said we need to go on the front end of what we're doing, and we need to be more inclusive. And when I say more inclusive, I say harmonizing the difference. I do believe differences are good, but I
Yeah.
do believe they need to be harmonized. I am. We did the women, the Power Women World Changer Summit inside the Vatican to honor women. But I always said, for me, it's not about making, being equal, is about being different but being together, helping each other. And I think that's also the base of a good family, a man and a woman getting together and sharing and building on their differences. It's
Yeah.
not about flattering and destroying the differences. It's about bringing, the beauty of it. And the same thing I believe is with the cultures. And
Yeah.
so that's, how the project Transcend started, where we want to show, we're building actually for the first time in the world responsive 3D holographic avatars that are capable of talking and to interacting to each other and to the audience. And my idea is to start this as a parliament of incorruptible ethical avatars that are able,
Yeah.
each one of them, to show their complexity, but they're also the complexity of the land where they come from. So I'm
Mm.
asking, all the countries to join in this effort,
Yeah.
and and so each country shall be represented by an historical figure that will,
Wow.
yeah, so that will be able to interact. And it's a lot of work, and just the work to think and to put together the scientific panels and the board of directors. It's just so incredible, believe me, that you bring so many different energies from all over the world: women, men, Asians, Africans, European Americans, well, wherever, I don't care. I think that's a great base. Science is, doesn't have gender. Science should be just science.
You're
And I
right.
believe, yeah, and that's why I brought together this project, and I'm pushing, we're pushing forward, and we're going to be presenting the project on the 5th of September 2025 for the Jubilee in Rome.
Oh,
So
great. You have to
yeah,
invite me. And we
yeah,
should
of course.
we should give it to the audience beforehand that they're able to join if that's possible. It's totally visionary, and this is what I also love about you, that it's not just you're focusing so on something which is visionary, your visions that spread, and it's great because it brings together from all over the parts of what you experience the things together to something very fruitful, what no one have expected and what's really innovative and what machines can't deliver, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We are at the Pontifical Academy of Science. We do this World Changer Summit, and not two years ago, um, I, there was one of our speakers who started talking about the HIT technology, holographic information transfer,
Yeah.
and then we start, elaborating on that, and then the project HIT Malaria came out of it, which, it's amazing, what this technology is able to do, is able to activate just a little band. Actually, I have a band here on my, I don't know if it's possible. It's a band around my wrist. It's a
Yeah.
little plastic band around my wrist. And through that, it activates with the difference of potential between the little plastic thing and the skin. And what it does, it electromagnetically reaches and selectively hits the malaria, the plasmodium, which is the malaria infection, the malaria uh, parasites,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
so it dies out in about 4 to 6 days. So now we are, through the process of implementing this technology. It's
Mhm.
also, being used for proprioception. It's being used to target C molecules, um, calcium molecules, sorry, that are, the meaning for, feeling pain. So if you target C molecules, you can, lower the awareness of the pain in the body. So there are all array of possibilities with information, with this technology. And we are exploring. I mean, it's like a Hit Malaria. It's a non-profit project, and yes, of course, we're using. We work in team with Regenerative, which is the company that builds the bracelet and builds
Yeah.
the device. But in overall, the institute is working to spread this technology, only to all the countries, because we have more than 600,000 people dying of malaria every year, and
Yeah.
more than 80 million people getting infected. We really do believe that this could be really of help, because a lot of the chemicals that are out there of the vaccines and stuff, through the use, are not working anymore.
Mhm.
So they need to be, implemented by new technologies. I think we can do a lot.
Yes, I think so too. That's amazing what you're doing. What do you have as a guiding principle or as a kind of statement? What drives you to do all these things?
Well, I always think about Marcus Aurelius, to be honest. And what he
Wow.
said is that the obstacle becomes the way. So he was the last of the Stoic emperors. It was a
Yeah.
very enlightened guy. He was, he spent a lot of time at work, but he was more of a philosopher. One of the things you read in his diary is that he said, I've never raped one of my slaves, which for the time was really, really, progressive,
Yes.
because, the emperor had, life and death over anyone. He could just, do whatever he wanted. And he didn't have to explain anything to anyone. So he was really doing it out of his kindness, out of his, evolved mind. And he was taking care of the people around him. So I think he was really, really enlightened. And I like the idea that the obstacle becomes the way, becomes the solution.
Yeah.
We're confronted every day with so many little problems, and big ones, at times. I went through some very interesting experiences: falling off a plane, breaking, more than 70 bones, getting stuck in a cave over, 50 meters deep. But every time was really challenging, but in the same way, it left me with a lot of thoughtful moments. And you really getting out of your comfort zone. It really
Oh, I
is.
can imagine. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about these situations, or what made you the person you are? I mean, you mentioned two of these, yeah, very deep situations, which I think challenged you at that moment very much. Do you want to share a little bit with us from that?
Yeah, well, I've learned very soon in my life that nothing is for sure. You cannot predict the future. You can spend a lot of time trying to understand and trying to look into the future, but really what it matters is the present. And I was
That's
about
right.
13, and talking to my father. He was away for, working, and he said, "I'm coming home."
Mhm.
And I said, "Dad, should I wait for you?" And he said, "No, no, no. You eat, and then I'll get there."
Mhm.
And I've never seen him again.
Oh,
So no, it was a, a great lesson.
that's sad.
Really, it was a tough one, but a really great lesson. Never, rely on anything. You just need to get better day by day. You just need to survive. You just need to, you know for me, I pray God, and I am, grateful to God. I'm a
Yeah.
Catholic, and I'm, Christian
Me too.
Catholic. And so that gave me a lot of strength into my life. And gave me a lot of courage. And most of the time, what I see, when I see people, that they're not behaving the way I believe they should, I think it's
Yeah.
just a lack of courage. It's just a lack of facing things
Yeah.
without raising their their hands. And it, for me, it's just unbelievable that we need so many laws just to tell someone
Yeah.
to be gentle and to be kind and to be, there should be something that should be, that it is embedded inside our functionality. And I
You're
do
so right.
really, yeah. And then when you try to um, make all this law, and it becomes very bureaucratical, and it really takes away the human side of us, and also the chance of making a mistake. We do need to be
Yeah.
there. We do need, I believe, to be able to make a choice.
Yeah.
Um, because if we, it's like they did one of the research they did, it was taking away all the traffic lights in one little city, in one little village, and actually the car accident went down, and people were more aware that they were in a place where they had to take responsibility. And what
That's
I see in
a nice
nowadays is,
experiment.
yeah, yeah. And what I see nowadays
Mhm.
is people taking less and less responsibility, and
Yeah,
just,
that's
oh,
right.
but I go by the law. I do this by,
Yeah.
and
That's
one of
it.
the things that I really uh, don't like is the way also technology is taking, it's taking advantage of a lot of people. It's very easy, for instance, now I say something stupid, but it's very easy to purchase a ticket, but if you want to change the ticket, then it becomes very, very difficult. It's
Yeah.
very easy to pay, a lot of companies, but then if something went wrong and you want your money back, you go through hell. Um, and I don't think that's the right way and the right message, for people. Technology should be friendly. We should use technology, not used by it.
That's a
And
very
so,
important point, I think. But what would you say then about artificial intelligence? Because I mean, it's made it's made by human, but it could take over or it could determine us via biases. It could be if we choose the wrong one, or if we code it in a wrong way, then it could be dangerous. Otherwise, it could be super helpful and solve a lot of challenges.
well, like nuclear energy, we don't have much choice. Technology marches on. The only choice we have is to, you know, toggle with it, is to work with it, is to
Yes,
understand it. It's not to be afraid of knowledge,
so
and that,
important. Yes.
yeah, yeah. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying we always going to do the right thing. I don't
Mhm.
think, when the French, exploded the atomic bomb in the Pacific Ocean, I don't think it was a smart thing to do, because a lot of people got a lot of problems out of it.
Yeah.
But still, I understand that we do need to work and to do our best to understand the technologies we have. Not saying that we don't have any other choice. I mean, we do need to understand, and sometimes in order to understand, we do make mistakes. And as if we go back to Marcus Aurelius, the obstacle is the way. So sometimes we make a mistake in our own personal life, and we have to deal with it. We have to accept it and to say, take responsibility again. And we go back to taking responsibility. And
Yeah.
as an institute, as a president of the Institute for Advanced Studies and Cooperation, I think it's our duty to lead the way. And many times we may make mistakes. We may not do the right thing. We may not say the right thing.
Yeah.
But we're open for challenge. We're open to get better. And the only way we have to get better is to work with people, and sometimes to be criticized, and sometimes to say, okay, you made a mistake there, and then you go like, maybe yes, maybe not, and you challenge the vision of the other people, and you challenge your vision.
That's right. I mean, this is one, you gave already a few really, really great hacks to the people. Are there two or three further ones you would like to share from your life experience to give the people an idea how to reach to the fullest?
Well, there is one thing that I do believe is very important, and it made a difference in my life. You do look at the moon and you say, okay, I want to get to
Yeah.
the moon. But then everyday life, you have to, sometimes you can make just one little inch at a time. I remember being in pain, and I had a tumor in my lung, and they remove it. And I was, quite quite an experience, very good experience. It taught me a lot about my body. It made me very curious about understanding more, and made me getting deeper into how the metabolism works, and the meaning of life. And but there were times where I was like, I want to give up. I can't make it through. And then I went back and I said, oh, my God, please, and just the act of praying, just the act of, challenging yourself with one single itch, step at a time. And it doesn't matter how difficult it is in front of you. If you don't give up, if you keep on going, uh, just a little tiny step at a time.
That's right. And that is so important. I think that we don't think that these are the big steps we always have to make. It's the small little steps, even if we know how big steps you made and how much you received already. And I'm very happy to follow and be with you during the next time. And it was just so interesting, so inspiring to listen and talking to you, Gabrielle. I'm very much looking forward to seeing you very soon again.
Oh,
And
well, yeah, I love to be here with you, and it was great to share. And so, well, also, you're invited to the World Changer Summit anytime you want to the
oh, that would
Vatican.
be great. Yes.
We'd
And
love to share.
what I forgot is, Gabrielle, you have to send me one or two books of you because Gabrielle wrote some really great books. You should look it up, because there you find a little bit of of his cosmos, of his universe, which is more than interesting because it could be a part of life changing for you. So thank you very much. I'm looking very much forward to hearing you next days. Thank you.
It was great being here, and thank you to all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we step into our next commercial breaks, and afterwards we continue with a book which has something to do